Cool, cool. Knowing people, they'll show up a little late too.
That's right. Everybody, thanks for joining in. Welcome. Welcome to Robby and myself talking about why you shouldn't grow a real estate team, that it's overrated, that it's full of chaos. Some of you are maybe tuning into Robby or myself for the first time. My name's Erik Hatch with Hatch Realty and Hatch Coaching. Or maybe you're tuning in for the first time, or you followed a lot of the stuff that we've done. But man, Robby, we've been so hot on this lately. I know we want to jump right in, but let's at least paint the landscape of the business that we're in, the things that we get to do, and why I think, have a good perspective on this.
Yeah, I like it. Do you want me to just start kind of telling them a little bit about Hatch Realty? Where do you want me to start?
Yeah, buddy. Give a little walkthrough with Hatch Realty and Hatch Coaching and how we ended up on this side of the microphone here.
Yeah. So long story short, I'll kind of give my background. Robby T. I go by Robby T for the big reason that my last name is, it sounds like a pharmaceutical drug, and it has all the problems but none of the money. Anyways, Erik took a chance on me, what was it, 7 years ago? To come
6 and a half, yeah.
Coming up on 7. We're just going to call it 7 because it's easier for me. But hired me as an ISA, and I came in and really at that point, Erik, you were already running a team that was selling roughly 300-ish homes.
About, yeah. Yep.
Give or take. And what we saw happen over the next few years was we continually saw, what was about 20 to 30% growth to a point where we hit about 600 and the 650 deals for a couple straight years, even into last year and the year before that. Am I describing that well, Erik?
Yeah, well, we had 4 years in a row that we did between 592 and 664 for our transactions. We were at a glass ceiling.
And we are not the type of people that like glass ceilings.
No, sir.
No,
sir.
And really, just to kind of give some background, the way we've built our team is unique in a couple different ways that we're going to dive into. Number one, we send all of our leads to our ISAs. Our agents do not touch company-generated business. They don't touch it until it's been given to them from an ISA in the form of some form of quality appointment. So that's the first big thing that's different about our company. This does not mean, by the way, to make sure you all hear this very clearly, this does not mean that you should go strip yourself away from your agents and just hire an ISA and turn everything over to them. That's the opposite of what you should do. The only reason we're able to do that is our ISA department had to slowly earn that right. And really, when I came in, it wasn't fully like that. We were giving some of the leads still to agents. And over time, what happened was myself and Jim, the other ISA, we proved that we could provide a better level of service and standard of response than our agents could. So know that that's one big thing that is very unique about our business. And then the second thing is we have not hired an agent for our team as an agent that gets company deals from my ISAs since 6 years ago, Erik?
Probably, yeah. In our world, everything is earned and nothing is given. And that has been such a fundamental strategy for how we've built and grown this. And it's one of the mistakes that so many people make, is that they put everything on an equal playing field. And they think that everybody should get the same fair shake and the same at bats. And frankly, I see what we're doing right now, and we're pacing for almost 900 transactions this year that we're intending to close. And that is up from 635 last year. So a massive, massive upswing in business. And we've burst through the glass ceiling because of a couple things. People are going to say, why are we growing like this? And frankly, I think teams in COVID have fared better than independent agents in COVID, relying on systems and structure and technology, and the affordability that is bequeathed to a team is far different than that of what an individual agent can do on their own. I think the second phase, and these are in no particular order, I think that we have retained people for a serious amount of time, and we're reaping the benefits of keeping people in our world for an extended period of time instead of having a team be a revolving door of people coming to a certain point and then leaving. And then I think that with the help of Robby and our ISA team as well, we've mastered systems, we've mastered strategies, and we have we've essentially made it so that we can do so much more with so less manpower, because our profitability now is skyrocketing. There's a difference between making money, like selling houses, making your gross, and actually having a bigger net. And we've, I think, cracked the code on having a bigger net too, with having the right kind of system, structure, and strategy in place. So people ask us all the time, and we're going to dive into this topic here of growing a team is overrated with a great deal of detail. But people will ask us all the time, what do we use? What are our systems or our tactics or our techniques for success? Robbie, 50 to 55% of our business is what?
Is SOI.
Yeah, sphere of influence, past clients and sphere of influence, 50 to 55% of our business. The other 45 to 50% is business that I purchase. We're spending $60,000-ish a month on business. What are some of those lead sources that have been good for us, Robbie?
Yeah, now if I were to rank it, number one would be PPC leads. And we're in a unique place where we actually get PPC leads from a few different providers.
And PPC is pay-per-click.
Pay-per-click, yeah. Sometimes I enter into nerd mode and forget that I should break this down. Really, it's just a forced registration lead. So we do PPC through both Sierra Interactive and Ylopo. We also do
Sierra Interactive is our CRM.
correct.
Yep. And they also are a website provider and do some great things. How would you describe Ylopo, Robbie?
Ylopo basically does all of our digital retargeting. So we want to go retarget people that have been a part of our world. They do some digital retargeting. They're also a lead generation source where they create forced registration leads for our team as well. So they're creating, they just came out with PPC 2.0, for example, and we're getting PPC leads through them. And then after that, of course, those are our biggest ROIs because the cost is low, the conversion cycle is extremely long, but we're built for it. We have the ISAs that are, more than willing to chase them for years.
Yep.
And convert them. I mean, we convert leads. I think our average PPC lead, when we run the numbers, closes 600 plus days after they register, give or take. So after those leads, we do $15,000 a month worth of Zillow, maybe a little bit higher. We are not in flex like some people are. That just hasn't come to our market. They've talked about it. Maybe they'll change. But right now we're spending right around 15,000. That's been as high as 20. And when COVID hit,
I think we were up to like 23 or 24,000 a month at one point. Yep.
Yeah. And so we've cut that back a little bit and are pouring more into PPC just because it's where we get a better bang for our buck. And then we chase expireds and cancels and we do those sort of things. But frankly, most of our closings are coming from forced registration leads from the company side as well as Zillow leads. We do not do Realtor.com. We just haven't ever for some reason. I can't really tell you why, but we don't. So those are really the big ones.
Yep. And then we're really intentional on being hyper engaged in our local community.
Yeah.
It's one of the keys of how we play a different game than most people do, through community involvement, through charitable movements, through being on boards and referral groups and all the sorts has been huge for us. Fargo, North Dakota is a border city with Moorhead, Minnesota, sister cities, and the two counties that we serve are 250,000 people. We then have 3 expansion markets, one 45 minutes east in Minnesota, one 70 miles north in North Dakota, and one 200 miles west in North Dakota as well. And we have 3 agents representing those areas too. So, and then we use radio presence as one of ours as well to capture mind share. We think that mind share leads to market share. And so therein lies how we're getting to 900 deals this year, 900 families served. We think that by 2022, we're going to be doing over 1,500 deals a year in Fargo, North Dakota, which is pretty awesome. I'm so over the moon proud of the team that I get the privilege of leading. With that being said, let me say this. Those of you that are watching live right now, please post some questions in the chat box. Robbie and I would love to answer any questions you have. If you are watching a recording of this, just reach out, check out our YouTube page. Be sure to subscribe to that because we give new content weekly with the Hatch Coaching YouTube page.
Yeah, I like
Robbie,
it.
Where are we going today, buddy?
Man, so the biggest thing that I want to chime into and dive into is how we hire and grow our team. Obviously, we're antagonistic in calling this that growing a real estate team is overrated. And really, let's just talk about this, right? The main problem that happens in real estate is this, and I'm going through this right now with a few coaching clients where people start selling 30, 40, 50, 60 homes a year as an individual agent. And what happens is they start asking two questions. And this is what I want a lot of you to maybe ponder or chew on is you start asking yourself, how do I work less and make more money, right? That's just always what happens. You prove yourself as a producer, and then what happens, you're like, oh, well, I want to work less, I want to make more money. And the light bulb that goes off, and almost every coaching organization out there will tell you to go and do this. They'll say, go grow your team by hiring agents. Now, the interesting thing about that is this, is that I see this happen over and over, and there's probably a few of you that are on here and like, oh my gosh, that's me. What happens is you go and hire agents, you bring them in, then you go purchase lead sources, and you bring these leads in. The agents don't really work them like you want them to. It creates this frustration. You pour a ton of training into them, trying to help them convert like you do, because you're a conversion monster. You're selling 40, 50, 60 homes. And then what happens is you look back a year later and you make less money and you work way more. And I see this all the time. And I think really the model and the idea of growing a team is vastly overrated, especially if you're just going down the route of, I'm going to hire agents who are going to call leads and produce like I do. That is such a misnomer, and almost no one actually achieves in that. Instead, most people have massive issues with it. Now, Erik's going to talk about how we've shifted. And if we were to give an advice and roadmap, literally that's our goal today, is to give you a roadmap that we follow, how instead of you going and hiring a bunch of agents, in our world, we'd recommend go hire a showing partner. And that's a buzzword maybe, I guess, or it's becoming one, or it's going to.
It's the word, Robbie. I think it's the way to do this. And I wanna rewind just a little bit.
Yeah.
Who wants to start a team? Because people that are watching this right now, some of them have started a team, or they're on a team, or they're thinking, I'm ready to take that leap. No matter who it is, why would you want to start a team? What are the reasons? Because we have to name this. We have to name the purposes. I'll give you a few, Robbie. Yeah. I think that somebody wants to start a team because they are losing their life to their business.
Amen. Yeah, absolutely.
They've spent so much time working in the business that they don't have anything to show for it, because they are a slave to their phone. They're a slave to their clients. Troy Copeland posted in here that leverage is one of those reasons. Yeah, leverage is so huge. You want to leverage your life. Mm-hmm. Why else would somebody want to start a team, Robbie?
I mean, it'd be the idea of you want to make more money. And
get that money. Get that money. That's exactly right.
It's capitalism, right? You want to make more money. So, yeah, exactly.
And so people have the thought process of, I'm going to bring on 3 buyer agents, and they're going to take all these leads that I don't have time to get to, and they're going to make me money.
Yep. And then I don't have to work as much.
Yeah. Oh, man. I got to tell you, I was talking with someone. She's not even my coaching client, but she's a friend of mine. I was talking with someone, and it was an amazing conversation, because in that conversation, Robbie, she's telling me that she's struggling with her agents, and they're all leaving her after they do 15 or 20 transactions in a year. They're just leaving her. She's like, I can't figure out how to keep them. And so we talked about a number of things, and I said, what is your coach telling you to do? And she said, I should hire more agents. That was the response that one of the top real estate coaches in the country said, was I should hire more agents. Because Robbie, you and I talk all the friggin' time that there is a mentality out there that more agents means more success and more money. Why is that stupid?
Because it's none of that. It's more cycling and more headaches. That's really all it leads to, is more headaches and more cycling through people, right? I think that was the biggest thing when you said that really stood out to me, was all that's doing is recycling, and you're doing this constant process of hiring to replace the people that you just trained up who are starting to produce. And it creates this massive headache, and almost like you feel like you're failing all the time. Like I don't understand how you would feel like you're achieving in that model if you're just going through that headache all the time. And what type of toll does that take on you as a leader when you're consistently seeing new people in, out, over years? What toll does it take on your culture when people are consistently leaving? And not to mention, these people now become your competition, right? That's the other big thing, is you train them these things. And we've seen it where a few of our coaching clients, when they've lost people, they'll go R&D everything you're doing. They'll start ripping it off and duplicating it. So it leads to massive headaches. Retention, and it's the whole idea of retention, is one of the most mysterious things in any business. And everyone will tell you that, you know, training and onboarding is one of the biggest headaches when you bring somebody in. It's also one of the most expensive. I think I had read that an average onboarding and training costs something like $15,000 to $20,000. And in terms of time and effort put in, resources. And we're just basically recycling that if our mindset is, we'll just hire more people. We'll just go hire some more that will come in and replace them. And it's just repeat, repeat, repeat. It's like running on a treadmill and not going anywhere. And I can't even imagine how frustrating it is to be in those shoes.
Robby, you and I have the privilege of coaching some of the top teams and agents in the country, bar none. And we've seen every model possible. There is not a way to make big money off a team, period. Okay, let me just say that. If I were to go back, if I were to start over again, I went into real estate as a part-time agent in 2006. I was doing ministry full-time. In 2011, I went full-time, sold 52 houses my first year. The average commission in Fargo, North Dakota at that time on a commission check was about $5,000. The average sales price was like $170,000, and it was a 3% commission. So I made $5,000 per check. After paying brokerage fees and everything else, I sold 52 houses in the year with literally like zero expenses outside of my rent. And I was with Keller Williams at the time paying for my brokerage. So I made $200,000 net my first year.
You're rolling in that money.
I had a ministry job before that, dude. Like I made 5 times the amount of money in real estate than what I did elsewhere. And so I did what everybody thinks they're supposed to do. And I said, I'm going to start a team. And the I'm going to start a team mentality was because I had more business than I could tend to. I wanted to make that money. And what I didn't do is I didn't take who was at the core of me, and that is to be a servant, to be a minister, and to pour into other people. That wasn't even a thought in my mind. These were people that were going to work for me, and I wasn't going to work for them. Their goals didn't matter to me. It was my goals, my goals, my goals. And so they came in. That next year is 2012. We sold 192 homes. Look at that, up from 52 to 192, 13 people on the team. I had expanded to 2 other markets besides Fargo, all in the course of a 12-month period. Grew from 1 person to 13 people, went from 52 homes to 192 homes. And you know what, Robby? It sucked.
Well, and how many of those 192 did you sell?
113. Yeah. I was surrounded by good people that were bad hires, that were improperly trained, that worked for me and I didn't work for them, that they picked up my table scraps, that it was all about Erik and I had the Rockettes behind me, dancing the jig. And I was so miserable.
And you had a bad system for them to come into, right? A terrible system to come into.
You mean to tell me that my Excel spreadsheet CRM was not a good system? And my IKEA whiteboard behind my desk was not the right system?
I mean, there's better things. And then even more than that, Erik, you were hiring them and they weren't coming in a very strategic fashion, right? When I say system, really what I'm saying is they weren't plugging into a model that helped you grow your production from 113 to 192. It was, here's my scraps and leftovers, like you said, go sink or swim. Fair to say?
Yeah.
And even when you have good people in the wrong system or wrong model, even if you onboard or train them the right way, oftentimes those people will still sink. We see it happen all the time. So that's the other thing, was the model wasn't there to support what you were doing.
Right. You're exactly right, dude. And I got to tell you, I told you I made $200,000 net in 2011. 2012, 192 deals. I sold 113 of them. Do you know what my net was?
No, I have no idea.
If I did 4 times the amount of business, shouldn't I have made $800,000?
I would hope.
Yeah.
I
made $300,000. Now, $300,000 is a lot of money, but my personal production more than doubled.
Yep.
And I spent all this money on leads to buy for my team, where I didn't train them, where I didn't equip them, where I didn't set them up for success, where we didn't have the right system for it to pour into. And they all each made like $35,000. I made 300, and they loathed me for it because I wasn't helping them to be successful.
I almost envision, just from watching Hamilton makes me think of history recently. I almost think of you of like King Louis, or someone just sitting on his high hill over here, and the proletariat's over there, just like mad at you.
But Robbie, you know me at my core, and you know that's not me, right? Like,
no, not at all. It's
at
not
least
at all.
I hope not. Yeah.
Well,
And
the
so
funny thing is, people are going to see how that has completely changed. So
I sure hope so. So let's fast forward. I got kicked out of Keller Williams because it was such a mess. Because growing a team means that I had to be a leader first, and I was a producer first. Now, let me take a pause here. Those of you watching this, whether you have a team or you're thinking about starting a team, it is foundational and fundamental that you build a leadership system and structure, and that your team comes before your client comes. Period, bar none, hands down. Because adding more agents will not make you money. It will cost you money. It will cost you stress. It is an inefficient way to grow, as far as I'm concerned, until you build a really strong foundation of having your finances in order, and that you leverage the most important person on the team. Robbie, our team now is, I think we're like 42 or 43 people at Hatch Realty. Who's the most important person on the team?
Oh man, I would probably say, in my eyes, I'm biased, ISAs, but
you know who I think is the most important person?
Who?
Me.
That's true.
Yeah, and that feels weird to say. It feels egocentric. It feels all these things, but I'm the one that needs to be leveraged the most, because my dollar per hour, when it comes to hiring, visioning, training, implementing all these things, my dollar per hour is the highest.
Right.
The most valued person on a team is the person with the highest dollar per hour. Yep. Period. Now, I would say immediately after us is our ISA team. For sure. Knowing, because what they're doing is they're protecting a $60,000 a month investment.
Right. Yep.
And they're devising strategies. And if you're just starting out, you're not going to be spending $60,000 a month. But like, I remember making my first hire, Robbie. I hired a college gal that used to be in my ministry group. I hired her at $10 an hour at 20 hours a week. And I thought, how am I ever going to pay for this? And I don't lose that perspective one iota, Robbie, of what that was and what it is now, and the life that I get to have, because I was scared to death of making that first hire. But Robbie, who do we advise the first 3 hires to be?
So if I were in your shoes, we always go in this traditional order. Is your first hire, if you're a producing agent like Erik, is you bring someone in that's an admin type role that comes in and helps manage all your details, all your transaction stuff that you already are terrible at, and let them take the lead on that.
Take it off my plate, please.
Get it off your plate, right? And
why do we take that off my plate?
Because you're not good at it, but it frees up the headache and time. And it's the whole idea of, and I hope people start to see this, our whole model and everything we built is built on the idea of leverage and specialization. And an analogy I like to use is, we are Henry Fording real estate. And what I mean by that is, we are breaking the real estate process into little bite sizes, and you focus on your piece. You focus on your piece. And we're just going super deep into that, right? between we have a marketing department, we have ISAs, agents, showing partners, we'll talk more about that in a moment, transaction coordinators, and there's even more layers to all this. But we're really just breaking it into those little pieces. So why are we doing this? Leverage and specialization. Because you spending an hour making sure your paperwork is clean would take somebody who's good with details 6 minutes. Because you're just not that good at it. They're gonna
if my time is worth $100 an hour,
yep.
Back in 2011, my time was worth $100 an hour because I made $200,000 that year.
Mm-hmm.
That is, first of all, that's obscene money, and it's not lost on me of the opportunities that I get. But if that's $100 an hour work, can I hire that out for $15 an hour?
And it's a huge win-win. You are happier. You're getting the same results, if not better. And now what you do is you take that time, you reinvest it. You go
so you said a key word, Robbie, reinvest.
Mm-hmm.
If growing a team is overrated, and we've already painted the picture that bringing on a buyer agent is like giving somebody 10 grand and hoping that this untrained new person brings back 5 for you. That's what we do with buyer agents is, hey, this $10,000 commission, I hope you bring back 5 for me, but you're probably not that good. So you're going to bring back like 5, maybe 1 out of every 3 times.
Right.
Aren't I now reinvesting as the guy that can bring back not 5 every time, I can bring back 10 every time? Isn't that the better financial move and the better skilled move for my team, Robbie?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is the big thing people need to hear is now we're talking about growing your team through leverage. That's the key word, leverage and support. And there's a key theme that I want people to write down and really focus on is you should never really think about growing a team. You should be focused on for a long time, how do I grow my personal production through leverage and support? You should be obsessed with that idea before you ever think about how do I grow a team. It should always be, how do I grow my personal production through leverage and support? And the funny thing is you make crazy money doing it. But that's the big shift now that you got to go through mentally.
Mm-hmm. So first hire is an admin that takes things off my plate, freeing up my time to not do the work that I'm not good at, and to reinvest that time into productive dollar producing activities.
Correct.
Who's the second hire, Robbie?
Another admin. We're getting really glamorous. So usually an admin that is more focused on managing your social profile, marketing, media. Someone's going to come in and help you grow your, in this day and age, digital marketing footprint, somebody that understands that. Now, this person, in Erik's case, for example, they don't have to be a marketing genius. If you have a lot of marketing ideas, you just need someone that can that has the time to do it. And, I have a friend that is going through this process right now, a coaching client, that's who he's hiring, is someone that's going to come in, and they've never really done marketing per se, but he's a great marketer. Kind of reminds me a lot of you, Erik. And he has all these ideas, but he doesn't have the time to do it himself. So he's just leveraging it through them, and it's a win-win. So he's hiring that. So the second person is a marketing, and I would maybe say growth-oriented admin that's going to help you grow your business. Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah, and that is oftentimes done incorrectly. My first hire, as I mentioned back in 2011, this gal's name was and actually still is Mariah. I was gonna say her name was Mariah, but I think she's still named that. So when Mariah joined, I had a list of things that I couldn't get to because I was so friggin' busy. I had a list of marketing ideas, as you were talking about, database things, past client follow-ups, all these things that I'm going to have her do. And so when Mariah came in, she did those pieces of work. But what happened is I didn't take anything off my plate. She, in fact, was creating more work for me because she helped to bring more production. The first person is relief. The second person is growth. And maybe that first person wants to be the growth person. You can't put them in that role until you bring in the relief person.
Correct. Yep.
Transaction coordinating, putting your listings on the MLS, dealing with the board office, runner responsibilities, personal tasks of dry cleaning and pet care and all those things. My personal assistant, Robbie, God bless her, because she has literally gone to my house to pick up poop to bring it to the vet to see if my dog was sick.
It's a true story, by the way.
Yeah, and I don't say it proudly. She knew what she was getting into, that her life was going to be like a personal assistant for me. But if I had to go home and pick that up, drive it to the vet that's across town, and then go back to work, that's an hour and a half out of my day. And if I'm worth $100 an hour, I'm the one that should be getting leveraged. Bringing on a buyer agent doesn't solve that problem.
Nope.
Yeah, Robbie, you said it. Leverage, 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 leverage. That is the trick to all this. So first hire admin, second hire admin, third hire, it's got to be buyer agent, right?
Nope. I wish I could do that noise that Cody does, and just like, no, that's not it at all. What is it, Hatch?
It is a showing partner. I am the most valuable person in my organization. And it sounds selfish. And remember, you're to give everything to your team. You're to give them amazing leadership and support and responsibility. But we're still not at a point in building a team to go and add a bunch of people that are independent contractors that you can't. It's like wrangling cats, man. It's just super hard to do. And instead, you bring on a. Go ahead, dude.
Oh no, you finish your thought, and then I got some questions. So I know people are gonna be like, well, how does a showing partner work? But we'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah, so this showing partner model is, again, if I were to do it all over again, I would have hired a showing partner and another showing partner. Because I understand if I'm the most valued resource in my business, that instead of me giving a $10,000 at bat to a buyer agent, hoping that they bring back 5,000 for half of the commission, I'm going to keep the 10 grand and I'm going to actually have a paid salaried team member as my leverage. We've done this model in our world for the last, I think, 5 years now. We've done the showing partner model. And the amount of production that our agents are able to do now because of that leverage is unbelievable. These showing partners have 3 roles and responsibilities. Number 1, it is to leverage their agent. Period. Bar none. Inspections and running earnest money checks and doing showings and doing client care. It is the nurse to you as the doctor. Hands down, their most important job is to leverage. Their second most important job is to train. It's not to lead generate. Lead generate is number 3. Their second most important job is to train. And the reason why is because your job is to build a bench and a farm system for the next man or woman up in your ecosystem. That's how you keep your business constantly moving forward instead of adding new faces who are untrained, who won't cash out the way you want them to. Is you build up in your farm system and you train and leverage your top talent. We have 2 agents in our world right now that are each going to do over 100 transactions this year. In Fargo, North Dakota, with one showing partner. Robbie, we talked about the numbers before this. What are the numbers we expect these 2 gentlemen to do?
Yeah, so Erik told me, I asked him, I said, so where's one of these guys heading this year? And he said, well, he's at 100 and heading towards 140. And when I first heard that, I literally thought he said he's heading towards 100. So I was like, there can't
100 transactions.
100 closings, 100 closed deals. And when he said 140, I just thought he was going crazy. No, the dude has 100 roughly pending and closed right now, and is trending towards 40. And there's no doubt about it, the dude works insanely hard. He is one of the kindest human beings, and people love him. His clients love and adore him. He's a former teacher.
He's also 28 years old.
Yeah, and he's 28. And all of our agents are all fabulous people. He's just, that story's pretty darn remarkable. But the crazy thing is, he's going to make right around 400-ish thousand, give or take, based off of those numbers. All right, somewhere around there. Yeah. And his risk in his business is paying for his showing partner, right? So his risk is.
And how much is that he's paying for a showing partner?
$30,000 a year, right? Mm-hmm. $30K a year. So less than, what is it, $2,700 a month, whatever the number is, to grow his. $2,500, yep. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. I'm pulling numbers out. Rain Man over here's got the numbers. I thought I was. But the big thing is about 60 of those deals will be company deals, give or take. The other, anything really over that will probably be all SOI deals. And we got to talk about this. Can I go on a little rant for a moment, Hatch? Just
rant away, buddy.
So I want to pause here because we're bringing up this idea of using a showing partner. You know, there are three things: or one, provides leverage for you, like Erik said; two, a lot of training, and really the word that I like when you say training is they're learning a ton, right? They're the sponge. And really, the way I always describe this, anyone that doesn't and is not familiar with the showing partner, is it's like a paid internship. The showing partner's coming in, they're learning from one of the top agents out there. Imagine being Tyler's showing partner and learning from him, scripts, dialogues, mindset. So it's really a paid internship. And the big thing that I need to name about this is this changes the quality of talent you're going to attract in your world. Because here's the thing is, almost always when we're going out to hire a new agent, most of the time what we go and do is we pick somebody that already has a license, right? And usually you're getting somebody that's the leftovers of another team. Let's just be completely honest. And it's just not an A player. They're not. In our world, I really doubt if we didn't have the showing partner model where it was, you're going to come in, you're going to make $30,000 your first year, plus we give them 15% of the commission on any SOI deals they procure for the team. So they'll probably make what, 40,000 on average, 50,000?
Yeah, 40 to 60, just depends on the hunger of that agent.
That agent. So
and remember, in our world, everything is earned and nothing is given. And so if you want to make doctor money in our world, you start in your internship.
Correct.
And you learn as you earn.
And the big thing I'm getting at with this is, in the old model of picking through the leftovers, the people you're going to bring in are just not going to be A-level talent. In our world, we now have been using the showing partner model, and it attracts A-level talent. Because think about this. If you're not picking somebody that already has a license, if they're an applicant that's considering joining real estate, your value proposition is, hey, come join our team. You're not going to really make anything for 6 to 12 months. Have fun. And even if you crush it, that's your value proposition. And there's a lot of really talented people, right? I think of, former teachers that have come into our world that have left really decent jobs, former engineers that left jobs where they were making, 50, 60, 70, 80,000. For them to leave and make nothing, it was a non-starter for a lot of talented people. Instead, because we're using the showing partner model, because there's that little bit of a safety net and the vision of you get to earn your way up, it helps you attract more talented people into your world, as opposed to just saying, hey, come in and you're not going to make anything for 6 to 12 months. That's just not what most people could do, frankly. So yeah, dude. I just wanted to go on that little rant for a moment.
Robby, as you were doing that rant, I blacked out for a minute, but then when I came back, I scrolled through the attendee list, and our buddy Zach Spradling's on right now. And Zach, I'm gonna tell your story because I'm so proud of you and Anna. Zach and his wife are out of Kansas City, Missouri. Anna had been in real estate longer than Zach. Zach's only a couple years in. He had a gig. It was in the railroads before, right? I think I'm asking. I'm pretty sure. Zach, you can tell us and type in if I'm telling your story incorrectly. But yeah, you said yes. Okay, good. Phew, good memory. Okay. And he's on a Zillow call right now too. So go figure. Guy just crushes it. So Zach and Anna, husband and wife duo, have basically said, how do we scale? What do we do? How do we grow our business? And they took this model of admin, showing partner. They are the literal book study nerds of it. They've taken Robby and my coaching. They've taken Robby's systems and they've taken my guidance on how to grow a team. And 2 years ago, Anna was doing what, 20 or 30 deals a year, I think. Not a ton. And they said, no, we're going to turn this on. We're going to activate it. And we're going to build the way that we know we can. 2 years later, their business will have grown by 1,000%. They're going to do over 200 deals this year. And they're going to do it with Anna as the agent, works with listings and buyers, does all the negotiating. Yep. Zach and another showing partner and a couple of admin and an ISA. A 6-person team doing over 200 transactions. That is unheard of in the industry. To be able to get that kind of punch. Their profitability, unbelievable. And what they've done is they've leveraged themselves as the most important people in their business. And they said now, because we're going to now have awesome building opportunities on what that next piece is and that next piece. But there are myths out there that other coaches are telling you, and I want to scream from the mountaintops that they are wrong. That adding more agents does not help you scale. That adding more agents does not make you money. That adding more agents does not build your ecosystem. You first have to build the foundation. And that foundation that you're building has to be you leveraged to the nth degree to maximize your profit. Because I will tell you this, I shared my numbers with you. You want to know what my team made last year, Robby? I say it, I am embarrassed to say it, but people need to know the full picture. We did 635 closed transactions last year. Do you know what our profit was?
I'll let you reveal it.
We made $240,000 last year with a $4.5 million business. I made about 5.5% profit. Now, I pay myself a salary. I paid myself a salary of $150,000 last year because I'm a CEO and I should pay myself a salary. And we pay profit share to our team of 20% profit. We also pay 20% of all of our profit to our community. This year, we're pacing for a 15 to 18% profit margin on almost $6 million in GCI. By the way, I think that making anything over 20% profit as a team leader is really friggin' hard. The best I see are at about 25 to maybe 30% if they are paying themselves a salary and if you're not using your own commission to fund the team. Here's a very important note. The moment you start building a team, you need to pay yourself in different buckets, okay? Number one, you pay yourself a CEO commission for running your business. If you're brand new, it's maybe $20,000 because you're working a smidge on the business.
Correct.
The next step is you're paying yourself a commission on every deal you do, which is the same commission that any agent on your team would get.
Yeah, pay yourself like an agent is what I always say. Yep.
I recommend 20 to 30% on the listing side and around a 40% commission split on the buy side. As people graduate in your ecosystem, they may make more, but you shouldn't start people out at like a 50% commission split or anything higher. It is just financially irresponsible. And so you need to pay yourself in those buckets if you actually want a true company profit. And those are the numbers that I shared with you there is what my true company profit was.
Yeah, and just to be clear, the third bucket is profit. That's to be very clear. So CEO commit for CEO salary, commission, and then your overall profit. That's where you measure how much money you make.
Yeah. Robby, it's weird to talk about money on something that's recorded, that's going to be shared, that some of my competition locally might see. But I'm not going to hide around the fact that running a team is grossly overrated and that you will financially make less and less of a profit margin the bigger your team gets until you hit a point where you can actually crack that code and get through that glass ceiling. And that's where we're at now. I started coaching a guy 2 years ago. He's out of Houston, Texas, an amazing dude. His team was producing 200 transactions a year. And including his own personal production, I asked him what he made in the last 12 months. And he said, I made $100,000 in the last 12 months. And he sold like 40 homes. His team did a total of 200. And he was making on average $500 a transaction from everything. This is a hard game, gang. This is a difficult game to maximize your profit unless you do it right. And if I could go back, oh my gosh, I'd be crapping gold bars, Robby. It would be unbelievable because I know now where that opportunity lies. I know what Zach and Anna get to do with their business, and that is they get to leverage them, that they're touching all 200 plus transactions. And when that happens and they have an average sales price of, bringing in $8,000 or $9,000 of commission, that's just stupid money. Yeah. And it's great money. And I'm so proud of them of doing that. I'm rambling now, Robby. Let me pitch to you.
Well, I think the biggest thing as well is, there's a couple things that people need to realize is growing a team is not for everybody. It is going to take a different skill set beyond just, leveraging yourself like we're talking about. If you wanted to keep growing it and moving into the next stages, the reality is if you want to retain A or B level players, A level talent is what I'll say, you can't be a C-level leader. And what's going to happen, you said it earlier and you went really quick, but you have to move from being production focused to being leadership focused. And that is an interesting thing. And it's not for everyone, frankly. And if you're going to do it, you have to commit to it. And that's going to take some massive investment in yourself. Erik reads and studies leadership more than anyone I know. Our leadership team and the people we, meet with, we're pouring, we kind of you use an analogy of pumpkins during our mastermind call just like last week or 2 weeks ago. And you have pumpkins you're literally helping grow, right? You're helping these leaders grow and develop. I'm one of them. I was one of those OG pumpkins back in the day. And so was Rachel, who's the CEO of our company. And if you want to keep growing, it's going to require you shifting out of just a production-based mindset and into a leadership-based mindset. And frankly, that's not for everyone. So just you need to be contemplating that. With that being said, what I will say is we always talk about the showing partner role, right? I told you earlier, it's like an internship. Now what you're doing is you're building that next layer of people that come in, they learn the business from you, who's hopefully crushing it, and then that person can graduate up to being a buyer agent. Erik said it a couple times earlier that it's earned, not given. And for us, there are many steps you got to get through before you ever become an agent. And I think for us, we hire you when you're ready to be an agent. And the funny thing is that really has very little to do with how great of agent are you or what is your paperwork. What's your paperwork like? It is, are you able to convert business, right? That's the one thing between agents that are still in the business now and the ones that turn out is, can you procure business, right? Almost always. That's the biggest thing. And for us, you got to show us you can do that before you can ever graduate up to being an agent in our world.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Robby, we're going to put a bow on this here. I want to give some final thoughts, and I'll invite you to do the same. And then I have a couple cool invitations for you all. By the way, if you're watching live, you will get an email afterwards of a replay of this and maybe a couple links of some things that could be helpful for you. The topic today is growing a team is overrated.
Yeah.
I'm also going to say that it is so worth it. I asked very early on in this why someone would want to grow a team. And I'll tell you why I want to grow a team now. And it's not because of money. And it's not because of time. It's because of impact.
Yeah.
And for me, that's when I've hit my sweet spot, is that I know that my call, my goal, my mission is to make a profound impact on my community, on my family, and those people that I have the privilege of leading. And so it's overrated, yes. If you're going to do it the way that everybody else is going to do it, you're going to have a ton of problems. You're going to have money problems. You're going to have people problems. You're going to have production problems. You might have family problems if you do it wrong. If you can do it right, hot diggity dog. I've never felt better in my life than what I feel with the team that we have and the life that I get to live because of the influence that God has given me with these people. Your final thoughts, Robby.
It is an injustice for me to say anything else. I think it's a perfect way to put a bow on it.
So let me say this. We're pushing through COVID like everybody else. Robby, myself, and our Hatch coaching team, we're inviting you to our summit in Fargo. We do a coaching summit every year, and North Dakota is a big opportunity that's open for people to come and visit. And Fargo is actually a really, really cool place. And so we do a coaching summit with some of the top teams and agents in the country. It's this September 23rd through 25th, 2020. We're going to send a link if you want to learn about that. People are traveling to Fargo. COVID's not going away anytime soon, so we think there's a big opportunity for you to grow together. It is hands down, I think, the most premier, outstanding event in the real estate industry. That sounds like a bunch of baloney, but Robby, we've just heard people rave about it, right?
somebody had asked me that was thinking about coming. They're like, why Fargo? And I told them, I said, here's why. We actually brought up the idea to past attendees about the idea of moving it out of Fargo, and people booed us. Like they just
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
Disregarded, like, no, you got to keep it here. And there's a couple of key reasons why I think Fargo works really well. One, Fargo is a really cool city that is on the up and up. But the other big thing is it allows us to have our whole team play a part in it. And that's the cool thing is if you bring your agents, if you bring your ISAs, we have an ISA track, we have an admin track, support track is what we call it. We have an agent track, and our agents, you know, just like the ones we were telling you about, they're humble enough and they're willing to pour their time into others. So you'll have direct access to go ask them questions. So that's one of the cool things about doing it here in Fargo. I just don't think we can ever move it away for that reason.
Yeah.
So, and Fargo looks a lot more appealing right now than, you know, in LA or New York, that's for sure.
Yeah. Fargo is really special, but coming to see how the food is made in the kitchen really helps to expose some things. And we think it's really special. Yeah. We're also going to send you a link to get a couple free videos. Robby and I spent the last few months creating these things called video modules. They're like training packages. Robby's is the ultimate guide to lead conversion. We have 5 free videos for you on that, and then a way for you to digest that more if you want. I have 5 free videos on how to build a real estate team. It really parallels what we covered today. And these videos will give you just a touch of it. We have a total of like 40 videos in the package, and it's a subscription fee if it's something you want to continue with. But nibble the free sample there first, and we'll send that to you here. Also, we're going to send you a discount code for our marketplace because we've created a bunch of products that help to develop team members, and we're going to save you some money there too. So with that, I got to say, it is so worth it. We talked about all the negatives and all the downsides of this. I can't imagine not having a team. It is so hard, and the best things in life are the hardest things. Marriage is hard, but there's nothing greater, right? Being a parent is hard, but there's nothing greater. And having a team is hard, but there's nothing greater.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. On behalf of Robby T, my name's Erik Hatch, coming to you with Hatch Coaching and Hatch Realty out of Fargo. God bless you, everybody.
Peace, y'all.